What's up, boys? Today I'm going to be showing you some sick builds for the new maps and the new patch, because I want you guys to win MMR. I wanted to jump in it fast. So here we go. I've been playing some ladder on stream. I played a tournament, and I actually think I discovered some pretty cool new builds to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys one really cool build for TVZ and one awesome build for TVP. So the first one's going to be against Zerg here. My opponent's about a 6'2", 6.3k Zerg. I feel like you guys can probably use some new cool builds for the new maps, because maps like this are so big. I really don't think you want to be playing a super standard game. Macro games are fine, but I feel like you want to do a good opener that suits the map. So I've been able to figure out some cool builds for the new maps. So I'm going to show you this one. So it's just a barracks gas, very simple, normal opener. Mostly I've been trying to play around a lot of the new patch notes. So if you guys didn't know, they made a change to the Widow Mine that it's now invisible if you have an armory. You don't need to make drilling claws for it anymore. So I feel like I've been trying a lot of invisible Widow Mine drops, and people don't expect it anymore. So it's been working pretty well. And in this game I figured out a pretty cool build. It's very low committal, but all the games I tried it, I kind of just owned my Zerg opponent. So there we go. This map looks pretty dope, by the way, on high graphics, I have to say. Normally I play on low graphics myself. So I always do this. This is my standard opener. Barracks gas. SCV scout with the SCV making the barracks. And then rally the 19th down to get that command center down. Very simple stuff. Then you could block the third with this SCV. The way I usually do it is I just scout the hatchery timing and go back. I feel like, especially since 2-base muta and stuff is really popular, I don't really deny the third anymore. I feel like it just confuses me on what they're doing. Are they just failing to take their third, or are they actually playing 2-base muta? I don't know. So what I do is I confirm that it's a hatch first, so I don't have to be scared of any pull first memes. And I just go back. I do the same with pretty much every build. Very rarely, if there's a map where, for example, Golden Wall, it's very easy to force someone to go into 2-base muta. And if you want to do like a 2-base solid, it could be pretty good, so then you could block the third. But most of the times I don't do it. So there's just a Reaper. Obviously gonna go in like a typical uThermal Reaper. Getting my second gas. So it's a very standard Reaper Marine, you know, factory reactor kind of thing. No bunker needed or anything like that. Now for the next minute or so, it's gonna continue as normal. We're gonna get our Hellions out. Also gonna be explaining you guys my Hellion movement and stuff. I think that's pretty important. So here, yeah, you scout for the third. I'm gonna say it's kind of annoying nowadays that 2-base muta is so popular, because in some cases it becomes kind of annoying to recognize if they're doing it all in or not. Now, this map is really huge, so I feel like you can pretty safely assume that it's 2-base muta. Obviously, ideally you double check it in about 20-30 seconds. You want to jump into the main. Actually, for the lair timing, you could already jump into the main earlier. I think his lair's being a little bit late. So my first two Hellions, I just send them straight across the map. I feel like when you make Hellions right away, you don't really need to keep them at home. I probably, I just went for a creep tumor. That's really greedy. I didn't go for the lair scout, but I kind of knew what was going on anyway. Now this is where it changes up. You start your third and fourth Hellion, right? You already have two here. These are gonna stay home. Then you start the medevac, and then you start an armory. Remember, armory after medevac. When I started doing this the first time, I kept making my armory before the medevac because I thought you needed to finish in time. But like this, it actually works out perfectly. So medevac first, then armory. Then all you do with these Hellions is deny creep. Remember, they actually kill creep tumors faster now with the light change. So actually, these two Hellions can deny a lot of creep. Then after 4 Hellions, you get the 2 Widow Mines. These Hellions shouldn't really be going back. Maybe I was just a bit lazy. If you don't have the APM to check on them all the time, send them back. It's okay. If you do, just stay here, deny creep. He didn't put any creep down before because I had them, but now I'm giving him the freedom to spread creep, which is my mistake, especially considering the third base is pretty far away here. Now check it out. You put the 2 Widow Mines into the medevac, and then you make 2 more Hellions. 30C goes down. So the 30C and the macro follow-up, everything is pretty similar to a normal build. All you do is you make 2 more factory units. You know, normally you make 6 Hellions. Now I made 6 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines. So once again, just to get the order right, 4 Hellions, 2 Widow Mines, 2 more Hellions. Then I'm gonna do the Widow Mine drop. You gotta find the best angle for this. I found on this map the best angle is going into the natural here. And you wall this off. You get a Liberator after the Medevac. This is pretty standard. 2 starport units, Medevac, and then Liberator. And then you just get that 3 racks going, you know. This is gonna make a tech left for tanks. This is gonna make a reactor. And then you're gonna end up with 3 barracks, 1 tech left for stim, and 2 reactors. Then the attack is just like this. You have the Hellbats at the front. This is mostly to force a reaction. Like, this is very non-committal. This is basically just my Hellions as the mine drop goes in. You see? Now, this is also what's really cool about the mine drop, by the way. No one really thinks about the fact that they're invisible, so they're not gonna have a spore if they don't scout anything like a Banshee or Battlecruiser or something like this. So it's actually kind of annoying for Zergs to deal with. Like, yeah, they just don't really have too much detection at this phase. He's gonna have to more of an overseer. Well, the Hellbats are the front are distracting. Also, what this does, you see, this is exactly what you want him to do. This is all it is, you know. It's nothing more. It's just 6 Hellbats. And he's gonna more 5 Banelings for it. In this case, even when he's going for fast muta, so it's gonna cost him a lot. Now, I saw he had a spore here, so I just went back here to drop another Widow Line. See these Hellbats. If you can kill some queens, if you need to get out, that's totally fine. If there's like, if you see this, just run. That's it. You don't. Like, as you can see, the supply, I'm already doing fantastic. He can't even afford any mutas, really, when his Spire finishes. And, yeah, there's no Spore yet. Obviously, it's pretty hard for him to deal with, since this is a new thing. He needs to think about making detection for this while holding the Hellbats off at the front. It's a very strange situation for Zergs now. So, like I said, at the same time in the main base, I already got my double eBay going. I got my triple barracks. Actually, I think I wanted to make this a tech lab. Okay, I guess it's gonna work out. I think this works out fine too. If you play against 2-base Muta, this may even be better because you don't need tanks to defend anything. Normally I like to have the tanks for safety. But as you can see, the mine drop came in, Hellbats were at the front. I even sent them back because this is going in, try to do some more damage. And just look at the situation of the game now. I didn't kill an obscene amount of workers. 13, that's a good amount, but it's nothing crazy, right? And I'm up in workers. My 3rd CC is done. My upgrades are started. I have my full production. I feel like this build has such a good follow-up to such good aggression. So now, as you can see, he's gonna have to go for mutas. This is a bit YOLO. That's just what I like to do. You don't have to do it if you don't trust yourself or you think he has too many links or something. I would recommend just using these with your first 2 medevacs when you push. But yeah, in this case I'm gonna kill some more drones and close the game out even more, I guess. The game was already pretty over. Now it's even more over. But yeah, what I like most about this build is 2 things really. First of all, Terran always benefits from having new builds because Zergs get used to the builds you already use. Like, it becomes easy for them to defend standard stuff. And this is something totally new, so they won't really think about it. It's going to be weird for them. They're going to have to find a solution during the game. But most importantly, what I really like in the build is that it has a good follow-up. There's a lot of builds where you can do so much damage, but your follow-up is kind of and then, you know, you end up being like just slightly ahead or even. With this build, I feel like if you just mess them up a little bit, it's already pretty good. Obviously, I already have the armory for my 2-2, so I don't need to start it. And look, when his first 3 mutas fly across the map, he meets this. That's when you know you're just screwed. It's not even 7 minutes yet. And after all that harassment, I have this as a follow-up. Don't forget, by the way, guys, I'm going to be putting the replay in the description as always. So if you want to check it out yourself, give it your own look in slow motion or whatever, just, yeah, download the replay, totally check it out. Obviously, he just, look what he has. He has 1 Zergling, 2 mutas, and 2 Banelings. And yeah, he just has to get out. And that's it, boys. GG's. Epic build. So in this game, I'm going to be playing against the Protoss. I'm going to play against Rail, who is... actually, he beat me at IM Katowice, so I feel like we're usually pretty evenly matched. It's about a 6-5 Protoss on the EU ladder. And I found a build that I also really like for similar reasons to what I mentioned before in TVZ. It has a really good transition. It's a bit of a different pressure, something Protosses are not used to. So yeah, it's a gas first build. I think in this game I autopiloted it to a normal gas, and then I made the gas anyway. Yeah. So I messed the build up a little bit here. Normally, you just get that gas instantly when you can afford it, right? So this is a gas first build. Now, I was a little bit late. Like I said, I barely do any gas first. I think gas first in the previous patch is not that great. Now, thing I gotta say with this builder is that gas first is not that great on smaller maps because gas first is weak to like core first chronoing units, which is only really strong on small maps, right? Like I don't think you would like to do this on submarine. If you don't really play against core first or you think you can defend it, go ahead. Like it's not like it's over from the builder to right away. But for me, I would probably reserve this for bigger maps like Death Aura, Pillars of Gold. For the TVZ build as well, by the way, I think that works very well on Death Aura as well. Eternal Empire, for example, those are maps where you want to throw out the gas first. You're not really going to be owned by any early units, usually. So you're just going to go for the Reaper, expand, like normal. Thing I have to say is, because Rail never keeps his probe around, I move my Reaper across the map. But if you want to be really safe, if you play gas first, the Reaper, and you don't have a Marine around, you should definitely keep the Reaper at home, because else the probe can come back in, and not only could he delay your CC because you don't have a Marine, he could also block you from switching the add-ons with the barracks and factory. Obviously on some spawns, if you, on this spawn, the add-on can't be blocked because the reactor is in the wall and you can lift without the probe being able to block it with the two depots. But on this side, if the probe would get in, I wouldn't be able to switch around. So here I'm only moving out the Reaper because I know Rail doesn't keep the probe around. But normally I would suggest looking around a bit, the base, see if you can find a probe, and then if you're sure there's none, you go. Or you could also wait here for the probe to come in, and then after you kill it, move across the map. So you're just going to go for Reaper, Factory, Reactor, second gas. This is a bit of an adaptation on an old build. You guys might still know it. So I'm going to open with 2 Hellions. Gonna get that starport down. Against Protoss, I feel like usually you just move the Reaper in early before there's a second gateway unit. Like normally you would want to scout now, even if it's here. If there's just one gateway unit, it's not gonna kill you before you scout. But when you go for Hellions, it's really good to sync up the Reaper with the Hellions. Like I think I probably lose the Reaper this game. I remember losing it anyway. Not sure, but the Reaper can always grenade the units out of the wall so the Hellions can run in. Or you can send the Reaper into the main to drag the units away and get the Hellions in the natural. Like, they just link up very well. So after 2 Hellions, you're going to start mine production already. So just 2 Hellions. Then you go for the medevac.
Command center upgrade.
See a Phoenix here. This is actually a good sign for this build. This build is definitely very good against Stargate, I think. Okay, so we actually get the scout down. Now, if you see this, you're probably feeling a little bit worse because they're going to have detection. Once again, I'm going to do an armory build. So here you go. 2 middle mines finish. I'm going to make 2 more, and then I'm going to start the armory. Hellions just went in. I got a decent amount of probes, I think. Maybe 4 or 5. Yeah, 5 probes. That's a very good amount for 2 Hellions, by the way. If you get 4 or 5 probes, you're very happy. So you got the 4 Widow Mines going. And you get that armory. Now, if you scout something you should be afraid of, if you scout, let's say, the Blink Colin, something like this, then you can't go on continuing Widow Mines. You're going to have to lift this, make a tech lab, put the barracks on a reactor, make Marine tank. But if you see a Stargate, I feel like you should do it like this. And this game, his defense was actually perfect. And I'm going to show you that even though he defended super well, I'm still going to be ahead. Because like I mentioned before, this build just has such a good follow-up. So you're going to hit with 4 mines, 4 invisible Widow Mines, because we have an armory. Now, normally I would recommend to take a more straight path to the enemy's base, but since he went for Phoenix, you should probably just go all the way around. Because, you know, like, it's not like your medevac's going to die, but if he catches your Phoenix or your medevac in the middle of the map, you're going to have to unload your mines and burrow them, and it's just going to be kind of awkward. Sometimes it can be a good situation. It sounds weird, but imagine he sees your medevac here, right? You're going to have to drop your Widow Mines, and he's going to camp it. And then your second medevac is gonna come in. This is what you just do against the Stargate, by the way. You just keep spamming it. You get the third. You're not under threat of anything, and he has to stay home because else he's just totally screwed. So if he has to keep his Phoenix here, if he's distracted, your other medevac can come in and get a lot of damage done. So it doesn't have to be bad. It's a bit uncomfortable, I guess. So here we go. 4 Widow Mines going in. I feel like this game I kill like 1 probe per Widow Mine on average. And this is actually very common. What's gonna happen here is he has an observer, but like I said, they're not used to the invisible Widow Mines at all. So he actually thinks these are the Widow Mines, and he's totally gonna miss this one and is gonna shoot again. And it seems like it's lucky, but I noticed that this happens in like every game. Like it's tough for them to see like every single Widow Mine everywhere. There's also on the other map, Death Aura. It's super hard to see Widow Mines on the ground. Like the terrain is just the same basically. So yeah, abuse that shit, boys. So like I said, I'm just keeping on the Widow Mine production. Keep making medevacs. Now that 30C is getting done, you add the triple barracks. Now against Stargate, why I'm spamming them so hard is because if you see a Stargate Robo in particular, he is like, his third is very late, he's very high tech. So even if he defends your stuff, he's still not going to be in a great spot economically and for the rest of the game. So if he moves his Phoenix out, he's just going to lose so much to the Widow Mines. If he doesn't move them out, he's going to be behind in eco compared to you. And that's what's going to happen. This one is going to do a lot of damage, but then I misclicked it instead of dropping. So the Phoenix arrived just in time. That's a big shame. All I do is kill the Adept. Even in this case, even though his Phoenix were right here, I would have probably gotten 2 or 3 mines burrowed and got like 4 gateway units or maybe 1 shot on the probes, you know. And even right now, if you look at the supply, I'm ahead in eco. Like my third is finished. This is already a good situation for me. Even though I messed that Widow Mine drop up. So when you can afford it, you drop down that double eBay and the 4th gas. Now I'm still spamming Widow Mines. I think at this point, now I'm getting my units going. That's probably enough. My barracks is finished. So I'm gonna get the double tech lab on reactor. 2 more barracks. Wait, where's my Widow Mine drop? Ah, here it is. Is this the last one? Oh, maybe the last one. Sad. I was just enjoying the Widow Mine spam. So just to show you guys how it's going, I lost 2 medevacs. You see? I lost 2 medevacs and 8 mines for 8 probes and an adept, I think it was. And still, because of the follow-up and because of how defensive he has to be, I'm still in a really good spot here. These Phoenix still can't move out because I'm still here dropping mines. I think this one's also not gonna do too much. Pretty sure about it. Yeah. If you play against Phoenix, actually I was being too greedy. I thought they were out of position. I probably just should have dropped every mine here. Please do that right. And as you can see, this is the position of the game. I'm... oh my god. Well, he's probably just returning to mining, right? Yeah. Let's see what the eco is actually like. As you can see, I'm really far ahead in eco. I have almost 5 barracks up. I'm getting my double upgrades compared to his nothing. And once again, it's not even 7 minutes and I'm already fully set up, basically. Just like the TVZ build, the follow-up just flows so nicely. If you can keep him home, it's such a strong build to harass. And like, this is the best defense I've actually seen. Obviously, he's playing Phoenix, which makes it a little bit easier. But he barely lost anything. I think he lost on average 1 probe per Widow Mine. And just because he was so high-tech and has a late third and had to keep his units at home, couldn't harass me, he's actually still going to end up behind. And in most games I play, honestly, they lose 10 probes and the game ends. Like, that's actually how it goes. There's so many Widow Mine drops, they're going to miss one of them eventually. Obviously, the second drop in this game should have done a lot more damage, like I said before. I saw the pylon spotted me, so I'm not going to risk anything. This medevac also gets owned by the Phoenix, I believe. Where's the Phoenix boys at? There we go. So that's another free Widow Mine. But at the same time, I'm getting my second starport going for the Colossus. I'm about to start my 2-2. Obviously, a very big benefit from this build as well, that you already have the armory for the 2-2 upgrades. You don't need to start those later. Almost made a third star put on accident. Obviously, I already have one.
Research.
So now he's adding his forges. Probably after I'm gonna start 2-2. I'm not sure how fast I'm on that.
Upgrade complete.
Come on. Oh, very sharp. Good shit, boys. Gonna be proud of ourselves. So here I actually start bunkers because I felt like I was economically in such a good spot. I felt like he was gonna do timing. I also didn't see any gases here. Now he made them, but I didn't see any. So that's why I was gonna go for the bunkers. I felt like he was gonna probably do like a mass zealot A move kind of thing. The few colossus he has make a lot of zealots. This is actually the only mine in the game that does something pretty much. 3 probes. Oh yeah. And also, I said this in the, I think it was the parting blink guide before, that the best way to end the game when you're winning is to go for that 2-2 Ghost Viking timing. You can see it's exactly lining up again. Starting at Ghost Academy now, got this Vikings producing 2-2 on the way. And that's once again how this game is going to end. I also saw other Terrans starting to do this, so it's getting more and more popular. And it's just such a strong timing. Your army is really strong at this point. Once your bio reaches 2-2 and you have a lot of Marauders against the Colossus, you're not going to take that much damage anymore. The army composition is good at this point, so I would always try to aim for this timing, especially when you're ahead. If you're not sure what to do, you can also aim for this timing. So here we go. Cancelling some of my bio units to be able to afford Ghost. Oh, I love it when the timing is lining up nicely. My Ghosts are going to finish and I'm going to be able to move out and hit his base by the time I have 2-2. And you guys can see what I mean, right? The units lost looks like this. Once again, I traded 4 medevacs and 15 widow mines, exactly, for 14 probes and 1 adept, and I'm in this good of a spot. That's how important it is to have that good transition in your build and have that strategy correct. It's not always about the numbers in the end. So here we go. I should be moving out any minute now, I think. I like how he's hitting like a 1-1 timing instead, while I'm hitting a 2-2 timing. Actually, I feel like this game I might even fight before I have 2-2. Now, just a small tip. I always do a 2 or 3 ghost timing, depending on how many you can afford. Now, I didn't have money for 3 ghosts at a time, so I have 2. But if you see an army like this, where it's like mainly Archon, Phoenix, those kind of units, Zealots as well, I would recommend ending on some more ghosts, because this army just gets, you can't even really see what's in there, I guess. It's 3 Archons, 2 Colossus, bunch of Zealots, bunch of Phoenix. An army like this just melts to EMP. So if you have to make that adjustment, you can just start a few more ghosts. That's what I'm going to do here. Even cancelling some bio units for it. So yeah, you're going to go in those CCs. I really like to add my 4th and 5th CC at the same time. Because I feel like the 4th base is actually a place where you're very vulnerable. Now this fight is going to be very awkward, I believe. I have such a good timing, but I'm going to meet him in the middle of the map. So we just go back and... as you can see, my army is just so much better quality. I have... actually, surprisingly, I guess that's a benefit of the build, because you don't make Marines from a reactor early. My army composition is very good. Normally I have like 12 Marauders, 40 Marines, you know, way too many Marines. But now I have like such a good Marauder-Marine ratio. I have some Ghosts and I have enough Vikings. I would say a little bit too much, but since he has the Phoenix, it's totally fine. So here we just jump on the fight later. The EMPs are not even necessary in this fight. I EMP the Phoenix of all things, because they're in range, but the 2-2 bio is just so strong compared to this. And that's going to be that game. So I hope you guys really enjoy these new builds. I've been enjoying using those a lot on the ladder. I hope you're going to win some MMR with them. And yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And leave a comment. Ask me any questions about this guide, or suggest me what you want to see next on this channel. And that's gonna be it, boys. Adios.